Look, I know I'm a few days late, but recently there has been a bit of a controversy. I mean, it's not really a huge controversial thing, but it's more likely, but it kind of surrounds someone that I kind of follow most of the time, Luke Stevens. He's been accused of being a shill. Now, there's definitely a lot of things that people don't point out when they're calling him a shill. But yeah, the extreme Assassin's Creed fans call him a hater, and the extreme Ubisoft hater fans call him a shell. But the thing is, as someone who's kind of on the middle line, like, yeah, I kind of consider myself to be a bit of a Ubisoft hater, not gonna lie. Like, they haven't made good games since 2016. I mean, the last time they made a good game was in, yeah, I don't know, like Rainbow Six Siege, and they try to distance themselves a lot from that game. So like, I don't even know. Like most of the time, they don't even consider it an Ubisoft game. But anyways, like Assassin's Creed Shadows has been in a bit of a development hell. I really want this game to come out just so I can see it fail because at this point, it doesn't really feels like there's any saving it. I mean, I'm sure it will make some money. Like people will buy it, and Assassin's Creed fans will buy it. It's not gonna go down like Outlaws, for example. But that's what kind of brings me here today. Is like Luke Stephens, is he a shell? And the answer is kind of mixed. The reason why the answer is kind of mixed, like think about it. They call him for demos. Sure, they pay for his vacations or whatnot and all of that good stuff. But people kind of forgot one thing is that when he's given the demos, selective missions that are given to him, it's not missions that he is doing by himself. And again, this guy has only played like 4 hours of Assassin's Creed or something, like a few hours. And personally, like, you can't judge an open world game by just a few starting hours. I'm pretty sure there's like at least need to play a certain amount to like know if a game is good or not. So like that's one of those things, and people kind of forget that. Like if they're calling him for a demo, the chances are that the demo that is being made is probably supposed to be good because they don't want to call a guy for promotion and then find out, oh, he hates our fucking game. Pretty much sure that whenever they do these demos, they only show the parts of the game that are fleshed out. That's why they're very restrictive about, hey, play this game like that and do things like that and that. Be both. Maybe he's getting paid by Ubisoft, or maybe he's just, maybe Luke Stephens is just kind of getting all smoke and mirrors. Now, the thing is, at least he should mention that at the very least that hey, I've only played a few hours of this game, and I really don't know if it's good because I haven't played a lot of that. Like that's one of those things that really don't kind of stick with me. Like if you're gonna make a demo video and say I played Assassin's Creed Shadows, it's kind of misleading because people assume that you played most of the game and that you have a good idea, but you don't have a good idea because at the end of the day, it's a demo. Like a demo, like it's almost pre-made. Like they know what they're giving you, and they're also very restrictive about the gameplay. Like here, go do this, do that, do these missions. Only 3 missions. Like that's why they didn't let him play the most of Outlaws. They only made him play 3 missions because they know their entire game was bad, which it was. I mean, that game is like PS2 level shit. Even like there are even PS2 games that are better than Outlaws. And if you guys forgot, there was also this Lego Star Wars Outlaws game, and that Lego version had more detail than than Star Wars Outlaws, like the original stuff. Which is funny because Outlaws has like the Lego version of these games, they have less employees working on it. There are less devs that are putting hard work into this. Whereas compared to Ubisoft, which has hundreds and millions of dollars of budget. Now, again, I know most of the money probably didn't even went to the development. It probably they were trying to just pay off for the license. And that's the thing. I mean, that's why nobody really wants to make games about like other established franchises because then you need to pay a license for it. And the license is very expensive. So most of your budget is just gonna go down the drain. Until unless it's a IP that is not really popular and you can buy it easily. Until unless that's the case, you're not making a fucking game of like a movie or a show. It's just not happening. Maybe in Roblox, maybe, but it's not gonna happen. But I mean, it has happened before. It's not like impossible. I mean, you have like you got the Jedi games from Star Wars, and there's like plenty of other IP games, like even Indiana Jones, for example. Like that is also a very good example of like how that game was good and it was from a bigger IP. They had to pay for that IP and they still made it. So it is possible, but they just don't have, they clearly try to take on so many projects at the same time and then they throw money and they don't have enough talent at the studio. So they make like five projects in like 1 year, they're just going for quality over quantity. And it's just kind of leading to their downfall. Like it's not really helping them. But again, as people have pointed out, that Luke Stephens did also review Star Wars Outlaws at some point. He did play that game before anyone else did. And he said the game was polished and good. And he also compared it to Uncharted. I did watch that video again, and here's the video. And I was so flabbergasted, like polished and Star Wars Outlaws doesn't even come in the same sentence. They're not even in the same universe. Like I don't know what he was thinking, but Star Wars Outlaws and Polish, they're not even in the same place, my guy. Like, did you even play Outlaws when it came out? It's not polished. It's very buggy. The stealth is just bad. He was kind of like giving hints that the game is easy, like you can do stealth easily, and like so that was kind of a hint. But the stealth is horrendously bad. The AI most of the time is just bad, and it's like I don't know what I want to play the game that he played because like I really want to know what he saw in that demo. Like of course the demo probably was like scripted and they probably gave him missions that were very polished. But again, it's like he compared it to Star Wars, like Uncharted, for example. Fucking Uncharted. Can you believe that? Uncharted. How do you? That's like me comparing like Saints Row remake to GTA 5. They're not even close. Like Saints Row, a mobile game is probably better than Saints Row. So like I really didn't get his comparison when he tried to compare those two different things. Like how do you even come up with that? Are you pranking us? Are you playing a joke on us, Luke Stephens? And again, that's why people are calling him a shill because they're saying, well, previously he did the same thing and he might be doing the same thing now, which I could say, yeah, maybe. And maybe it's just that he gets the demos that are very polished. And it makes sense because if Ubisoft is doing this beta testing, early access playing thing, he is only getting the demos that I just, polished and the parts of the game that are polished. So maybe it's not his fault, or maybe it's both. Maybe he gets paid, maybe he's a shell and he's getting the demos that are polished because they would make sure that the demos are polished and good. And Ubisoft is good at faking demos. Like, come on, look at the Watch Dogs 2014 one. I mean, that's the classic example. That's where the downfall of Ubisoft started to happen with that fake Watch Dogs E3 trailer. I don't need to tell you that. Almost every person knows how big of a scam that was. Even with mods, you cannot achieve that true E3 experience that we saw in 2014. Like that was supposed to be the GTA killer, by the way. It was coming out around the same time that GTA 5 did. So I don't know what they were thinking. But yeah, that was pretty much it. That's kind of my 2 cents on Luke, you know thing. I'm not really hating on him, to be honest. I don't want this video to be like in a bad taste. Um, I'm just saying that he might be shell, or maybe he's just getting good demos. Ubisoft knows that these people are coming to get demos, so they're going to make the demos look good because this is basically free advertisement. Because they'll go back and they'll be like, "Oh my God, I played the demo; it was so good." But in reality, the demo actually kind of is just this smoke and mirror sort of thing, and Ubisoft gets its free, it's not really free because they still pay them, but at the anyway, but it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, it's kind of scripted because it's a demo, so they're going to show them the most polished stuff, and when the game eventually comes out, the YouTubers actually end up winning because then they also get to shit on the said game. So Luke Stevens wins either way. Either he plays the demos and be like, "Oh my God, guys, this game seems to be good, very promising," and then it comes out and it's like, "Oh yeah, we all saw this coming. This was very bad." My first video on this YouTube channel. So I think my YouTube channel is supposed to be just a hobby as of right now. If it gets bigger, I'll do much more other things. But right now, this is just my yap session channel where I just kind of yap and talk about things that I really want to. Otherwise, yeah, that's pretty much about it. I mean, yeah. So